Alright, hello, my name is Taylor, and I will be presenting my tool, the 3D Sprite Layer. But first I'm going to just run you down the current process when it comes to making environment objects for my game project that I'm working on. So basically, if I wanted this tree, for example, and I wanted it to look all nice and stuff, for my project, I would have to, have a sprite, rotate it correctly, and then I have to copy and paste a bunch of different layers, and then space them out, and they're not going to get spaced evenly. I have to update their order in layers because when the camera moves, this will get all messed up in the game view. And then also I would have to do this, say, little debug mode to allow for shadows to get casted. For some reason it's not actually doing it right. Oh, right, that's another thing. I have to assign, hold on, I have to go back to normal mode. I have to assign this fancy little shader that I made that allows for them to cast shadows to make it look all 3D and awesome. But yeah, that's stupid, and so I made a tool to automate that, which I'll show you now. So I'll just show like a quick little. It's so easy. Like, I select the tree that I want. I want that tree. Boom. I want 10 of them, 10 sprites, and I could go generate. And I just drag that scene. Boom. It's made, just like that. So I'll run down how this actually, or everything about the tool now, but so we can name it here whatever we want, the prefab. So I'll call it tree_oak. And if we want, if we wanted to choose from multiple sprites here, we can just do that here. Yeah, we'll do those 3. I'll show this later towards the end. I liked having 10 sprites, so I'll keep it at 10. And then angle, we can adjust. Here, I'll just throw this into the scene so you can see. So we have perfectly spaced at 0.05 between. So we could set this angle to like 70 or something, and then if we regenerate, it'll update. So now they're angled 70 degrees. If I wanted, some environment object that's lower to the ground, I can do that. But I like it back at 45. And then so spacing this is like the spacing between each sprite layer. So if we generate, they're a little more spaced. Here, if I make it bigger, it's a lot easier to see. Yeah, see, so they go out further. It's good to keep this lower though, for like my current project. So I'll keep it like that. Yeah, and then so the way it works is the amount of sprites. So since it's set to 10, the way that the array works here is the first sprite will be this one, then the second sprite will be this one, the third sprite will be this one, and then if this number is bigger than the array, it'll just keep looping like a pattern. So go 798, 798, and it's kind of hard to see here, but I can adjust the spread for how, like, the offset in the z-axis. So if I generate, so now they're more spread out and you can see them better. Well, granted, these are all green, so if I made it like orange tree, and then if I did like, I don't know, flower, if I generated, well, the flower is kind of hard to see, but you get what I mean. It repeats over and over again. So if I set this to like 0, spacing 1, there. So you got green tree, orange flower, green tree, orange flower, and it just repeats. But so what you could do is randomize the sprites here. So if I toggle that and then generate, then it doesn't matter on what order it is. It'll just randomly select from the list. This is specifically more useful like for this rock. These rock sprites when I want to make like a rock that is like a bunch of different, you know, sprites. I don't know which one of these I actually selected, but whatever. And then so I could generate, or I'll set the spacing back to something good. Generate. And then it's just a bunch of different, oh, I need to, yeah, so it's just a bunch of different sprites that it randomly chose. And then you can change the amount of variance you want here. So like, oh, well, I should rename this actually. This is, I'll just name it rock. So I want, it's going to generate 10 variant prefabs. Boom. And then I can just easily, you know, throw these into the scene and they're all going to be different. If I had more varying sprites, it would probably look cleaner, but yeah, that's just how that works. So that's nice. Yeah, and you can change the output folder to whatever in here. You can also, if you make like something that doesn't exist, like test, and then generate, it made the test folder just now in the prefabs, and it generated 10 more rock variants, which we can just delete, because I set it to 1. Yeah, and then you can press reset here, and it resets the whole list and whatnot. You can also, whenever you try to do something here, there's a little console input, or yeah, and right here it says a warning that the sprites list is empty, so you can do that, and then it'll generate freely. You can, there's a bunch of things that I did, so like, it checks if you have amount of sprites set to something, it's like no invalid. It'll check if the folder is even a thing, no output folder selected. It'll check if there's an invalid amount of variance and whatnot. So if I generate, nope, no amount of variance. Very helpful stuff. And then so, yeah. And then when you, oh yeah. So this little toggle right here, I made this work somehow with Blackmagic, but it's a preview window. And when you modify stuff like here, boom, it made 10 of them that are evenly spaced, and you can change the spacing here. This is helpful for like if you're just working with one variant, if you don't want to just randomly spit out a shit ton of them and then just throw them in the scene. You can just work with one right here, and you can modify the spacing and whatnot. And then you can also reseed it so it randomizes again, and then when you're good with it, like, oh, I like that one, you can generate, I'll just call this one a pine tree. So you can generate, and it successfully created one. I got tree pine, and it's the same as the preview. And yeah, this would probably work better for the rock example that I gave earlier, but yeah. And then so I'm gonna show off this other thing. I'm just gonna make a birch tree real quick, and I'll finally be able to show what this does. So alternate sides. Basically, so let me choose this fatter tree, all right, for the normal front, and then I'm gonna choose we'll do this really thin one for the alternate side sprite, and so I'm just gonna generate this, and then I'm gonna throw in the scene, and then I'll show you what this really means. But so let's say we have a bunch of sprites out here, right? A bunch of environment props and whatnot. So there's a cool little thing that I made for the project that I made this this tool account for. But basically in my game, I never showed this because I didn't want to scare anyone with like overscope or anything. But in my scene, you can rotate and there's all the sprites get rotated 90 degrees. And so when the ones that don't have alternate sprites, like these pine trees or these rocks, they are the same on the side view. But then like these orange birch trees that I made that have the alternate sides, when you rotate, they're now the thin sprites here. So they're fat here, and then they go thin. And yeah. Oh. Okay, well I got one little error. Basically the preview window, I was having issues with it. I don't know why. It's all silly, but it's something to do with, so the preview window, it's like it's a separate, like it's a minute, it's like this mini scene, and then the camera gets sent, like what the camera sees gets sent to a texture that is then displayed here, and then I can, mess with it and whatnot. Sometimes it's just spits this error whenever I have preview open and I press play. I don't know why, but it's whatever. But yeah, this is my tool, and here is proof that I used source control. All these uncommitted stuff is just a bunch of sprites, like literally all the sprites that I just imported last minute here to record this video. But yeah, I will be committing that here now. Thank you.